Oh, hello, all for beautiful wrestling, all for beautiful broadcasting, all for beautiful Maverick Nation. I am the Dark, the Shadow, the Maverick, the Dark Shadow Maverick. Here with part 4 of what Izuku was, God, Destruction of Universe 50. Or just a G.O.D. We'll be covering the rest of the damn tournament, because the first part of it was so damn long. Even whenever I just, abbreviated, the rest of the matches. So, yeah, basically, I think I made a mistake the first time. It's not all of Universe 6, but all of Universe 9 were defeated, so this is technically not going to start with, a resuming of the tournament. It's technically going to start with an intermission after the destruction of Universe 9. Because all of their fighters are basically gone. And with Universe 9 gone, there is, well, basically Supreme Kai and God of Destruction of Universe 9 gone. And, the inertness of, Universe 9's Angel. So, yeah. Sad song on the world's smallest violin for Universe 9. And basically after that, in our mission, then we cut to the rest of the tournament. The Quadruple Universe Tournament. Which is not basically a Triple Universe Tournament, seeing as, Universe 9 is basically, completely gone. The first match of the second part is Izumi versus Vegeta. And Vegeta just going into Master Super Saiyan because he feels like it. And Izumi really just going into her full cowling. Not even a full percentage of it, because she knows what that would do to her body. Well, if she was anything like Izuku was before becoming a god of destruction, but in Ghost Training, kind of changed that. So, just doing it because. And Vegeta basically Loki gets his get back after, a couple, good hits from, freaking Izumi. After a couple good hits from Izumi, Vegeta Loki gets his get back, but not for long. As basically, Izumi would be like, "Where are you, you G.D. Saiyan ape?" Just shoot everywhere. And basically, Vegeta would pop up from behind, basically. And Verdi would catch his hand right before he was about to smack her upside the head. Turn around, catch his hand, more or less catch his arm. I guess wrist. And, with Vegeta's other arm, he would just go for a punch to Izumi's gut. But that's whenever she would stop that with, a kick to his arm, breaking it Android 18 style. And, all Vegeta can really do is, well, seeing as the next thing Izumi does is kick him down to the ground, is use his other arm to brace for impact. And seeing as basically she just dropped from the top rope, like a freaking Big Show, to press down on it, and whenever she falls down on top of Vegeta, basically breaking the other arm. And Vegeta's yelling out in pain. And basically, Izumi getting her get back. just being like, "So how do, you G.D. Saiyan Ape of Universe 7? Scum!" Yeah, I'm telling you, I was not kidding whenever I was saying that she was competing with Frieza and Zamasu for the title of Ultimate Racist. And so, yeah, basically grabbing Vegeta by the throat and just holding him up like, because he can't use his arms. And so, well, basically, Vegeta tries to remedy that by pushing, energy through his arms to allow him to force himself to have his arms active again for, a short amount of time, but just enough amount of time to pull a surprise on, Izumi, friggin' a Kai Blast. But that's the thing. Izumi basically, basically the great freaking equalizer, basically absorbs, to everyone's surprise, absorbs the destruction energy and sends it back at Vegeta. Or at least that's what it would look like if he didn't use instant transmission at the last second. Because, he had pushed energy into his arms, allowing him to use both of them. But that's basically whenever, picking up from what Vegeta had done, Izumi would also use instant transmission. Or more or less a different version of it that's sort of superior, Kai. Basically, as Vegeta was using instant transmission, she used Kai to basically meet Vegeta halfway, or at least close enough to halfway, to be right in front of him whenever he popped up, like freaking whack-a-mole. And just right in front of his face, and basically pulled a like whole Rose Goku Black thing, but like, like, Unga, taste my blade. Like, like, yeah, basically did that to Vegeta, knocking him, like, out completely. But Izumi would realize that it did take quite an amount of energy to do. Goku would just be shocked as hell. Basically, this human, this energy isn't even really all that old, knows how to use freaking Hakai. I mean, he's a full-grown adult, so it would be, kind of basically, and Vegeta is a full-grown adult, so it would be kind of, predictable that they'd be able to use Hakai, but not a little kid, and a human, no less. So, yeah. Basically, Vegeta out for the count. That means that Izumi was the winner. And Kale versus Khalifa, well, like, Kale really doesn't want to go into her Berserker Rage, and that's basically the entire reason why, Kale loses. Because she doesn't want to go into her Berserker mode. The one advantage she probably would have over Khalifa. So yeah, Kale loses. Easy said, easy done. Pretty much. And Kaba versus Android 18. Kaba's pretty strong, and, he would have been training extra hard, to please his master Vegeta. The Sama, Master Vegeta-sama. And so he would end up winning over 18. Kaba the winner. And Krillin versus Gohan, well, seeing as Gohan is trained to the point to where Ultimate Gohan power level is basically his power level in his base, I would basically make his power level whenever going into Ultimate Gohan, like, this time would basically be 2 Ultimate Gohans stacked on top of each other. And, he doesn't even really need to do that, because Krillin, isn't really all that strong, compared to Gohan in the first place. Gohan would need to still be respectful, and, even though, Gohan would obviously win, it would still not exactly be the best for, Krillin's, confidence. But, Gohan would ensure him that, had he probably been a little bit younger, around, Frieza Saga, he possibly could have squeaked out a win. But that's not really helping Krillin either. And Gohan, at least, well, with the face he has, Krillin's like, well, at least you tried to help me. That's more than I could say for other people. I'm just looking at Vegeta. Who would probably rather demean Krillin's confidence even more than, try to help him regain any of it. And Piccolo versus Goku, surprisingly, would kind of go the same as, the 23rd, Budokai Tenkaichi, or more as it was actually Tenkaichi Budokai. Basically, go the same as the 23rd, Tenkaichi Budokai, World Tournament, basically. Only a little bit more one-sided. And that's only because, Goku would want to enjoy the fight. And Piccolo would, actually try to match Goku just a little bit. Just so it could be like in the old days whenever they were like fighting it, like dog fighting it out, So it wouldn't really just last like 1 second, it would actually last like for a couple of minutes. But Goku would still squeak out that win. Not really squeak it out, but to, definitely get it out. And when it basically comes time for Frieza versus Anazari, well, Frieza, realizing that Anazari is an actual threat. But, considering that Blue friggin' Gogeta and basically Goku Ultra Instinct and, Vegeta Ultra Ego is probably stronger than Gogeta Blue, and he was able to use his black form to defeat both of them, Ultra Instinct Goku and, Ultra Ego Vegeta. Basically, not really dog walk Anazari, but definitely still beat him by just going into the black form and just start masterclassing. But, Frieza would be like, for a monkey, that was still a pretty good fight. And then it would be Boo versus Varuti. And despite all belief that it would probably be otherwise, whenever it generally looked like Boo was going to beat Varuti, guess who ends up popping up for that confidence boost? As if Varuti actually needed one. considering how, proud she is of herself and, Universe 50 as a whole. Guess who ends up popping up? Good old Izumi, being, frenzy-like, was being like, "You can do it, Veruti! Eat that horse!" And just would be like, Veruti would just, like, snicker, and Boo would be like, "Huh?" Like, as they would just be duking it out, after the whole fight with Goku versus Piccolo, Veruti would kind of just, like, somehow learned how to do a Kamehameha, and basically, Boo's Kamehameha versus her Kamehameha, and, basically, Veruti would just start to snicker and basically be like, "Izumi, what you talking about? Horse already eaten. Super Kamehameha. Boom." And Boo wouldn't really be expecting this amount of power increase. But that's when we're at the last second. Boo would see something unexpected. The image of, was it 6 or 7 periodic Saiyans? Well, basically several beings surrounding Veruti as she was powering up this Super Kamehameha. And Veruti's aura changing to something that Boo recognizes as, well, what Goku's aura changed into whenever he first fought Beerus, in the God form. Super Saiyan God. And basically, Boo realizing that, well, it may not be Super Saiyan God, this apparent, confidence boost that Izumi gave, Veruti, even though Veruti didn't really need it, apparently somehow this affected Veruti enough to actually give her a boost similar to that of Super Saiyan God. And since Super Saiyan God is, like, strong enough to fight Beerus, and Boo wasn't strong enough to fight Beerus, yeah, you can basically tell that Veruti would most likely beat Boo after getting this increase out of freaking nowhere. And basically, with the other Saiyans of Universe 50 commenting that, it's kind of been always something about Veruti. She can get, power boosts in the awkwardest of ways. And most likely, most of those times, whenever she gets those power boosts, it's because of her confidence in herself. For Gohan, it was always the pain of loss. For Veruti, it's always, her confidence. And nobody really seems to understand, not even the people of our own universe seem to understand. That is, except for Izumi. And Veruti doesn't even understand how her powers work. But Izumi seems to do that, even whenever Veruti doesn't know how that works. Izumi seems to know, but just doesn't tell Veruti for some reason. It's almost like some sort of deep secret that needs to be kept hidden. Or else all hell, like Pandora's box, would be popped up and loose. And, Veruti's actually, not Veruti, but Izumi's actually given this power a name. Because she's heard, the humans, say this, basically the humans of her, version of Earth say this, this, thing before, this object called Pandora's box. And so she basically names this power of Veruti's Pandora's box. And basically, saying to herself, because she doesn't want anyone else to hear, And, staying away from Goku whenever thinking this, because apparently Goku, if anything in the Frieza saga, is known to be speculated upon, can read minds if, tap you on the head. So, yeah, staying away from Goku whenever, thinking this. This Pandora's box thing only seems to happen whenever she gets a confidence boost. Unlike people that are overconfident that lose because they were overconfident, this only seems to, enhance our chances of winning. It's as if at one time she was so unconfident of herself that she needed someone to bring her into a confidence boost. Or else she would have just, it would have not been pretty, whatever had happened. And that person to give her that, bring her back that confidence, or whatever happened, was Izumi. The first time that Izumi and Veruti had ever met, she was that person. And basically that was also the first time that this Pandora's Box ability had ever happened. Because, well, the first time that they met, they were actually attacked, and Veruti actually used this power to overcome their foe. And, absolutely freaking destroy them. Eviscerate their ass. So, yeah. Veruti does indeed have this sort of similarity to Gohan, but unlike the pain of loss that Gohan has, it's actually more of a, pain of loss of confidence in yourself. It's almost like she was at one point in her life lacking that Saiyan pride. And, the pride in her Saiyan ability was inevitably something that she needed in her life that she never really had up until that point. And, basically giving her that boost. So, yeah, now, basically having defeated Boo, Veruti advances. And the next match being Garumeta versus Vira. And Vira using, the Yardratian tricks, not really being all that much of a warrior, more of a master technician. But, it seems to be enough to, get them a win over Garumeta. Yes, that's right. Vira walks out with a win. The Yardratian beats the Namekian. And then it would come to the second to last match of this round. Badameshri versus Komori. And Komori, versus Badameshri, well, Komori would overall, it would be a pretty even match. It would be pretty decent one. But overall, seeing as the Saiyans of this, Universe 50 can go all the way to Super Saiyan 2 at least, and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was actually doing pretty good against Deborah, and Badameshri was supposed to be close to Deborah level. Yeah, it's safe to say that Komori would squeak out the win. And the last one would be, Vegashire versus, G.O.D, the other Namekian. And Vegashire would just... humiliation on top of ending his whole damn career. Because Vegashire, unlike Badameshri, does not give a damn what anyone thinks of them. So Vegashire getting the win on the last match of that round. And basically, another animation happens because, well, now there has to be some contemplation done. With the only two last remaining members of Universe 6 being Kaba and Caulifla, and the only remaining members of Universe 7 being Gohan, Goku, Frieza, yeah, basically being Gohan, Goku, and Frieza. And so, basically, when the intermission comes, well, yeah. Things are not looking very good for Universe 6 because they have even less members left than Universe 7. So Beerus actually does kind of have like a triumphant smirk over his brother, because it actually looks like they might be able to squeak out this one. At least if they don't beat Universe 50, they can still be Universe 6. You know, his brother's universe. And Champa not being so confident, actually kind of panicking. Because, Sidra and, his, Supreme Kai was erased, making, the Angel, inactive. And, the same thing will happen to him if all of his, competitors left, lose. And then his only remaining competitors being Caulifla and Kaba. With, Universe 7, Beerus' team only being Gohan, Goku, and Frieza. But with Gohan's, ultimate Gohan form and Goku's, freaking Ultra Instinct, and even the Kaioken, blue, and, Frieza's, black form, they look pretty solid. So, yeah, basically the most worrying thing right now is Universe 50, because, god dang. The next match, Izumi versus Caulifla. And basically, Champa's basically like, oh god, no. Oh god, no. Caulifla doesn't have Kale around, can't really fuse. Because, there was actually a rule against that in this tournament. Can't really do that kind of shit. So, yeah, Caulifla just has to, rely on Super Saiyan 2 and hope that works. And Champa knows that's not going to work. He just has that feeling, he knows that ain't going to work. That basically, Caulifla's freaking dog water and, blood in the water, so, yeah. Her blood specifically. So, yeah. Basically, Caulifla would be talking all that shit. And so would, Izumi. But, it would actually get so bad, that she'd actually start, Izumi would actually start, insulting Kale, because she knows that, Caulifla and Kale are close, and, that would just start, cutting deep, and just cause Caulifla to go into a rage, absolutely going into Super Saiyan 2 full power and just, rah, like, go after. And, this is kind of what Izumi would have wanted. Because, showing her skill even further, basically, full cowling wouldn't be the only thing that she would have had. Because it would have turned out that, oh no, this is apparently Kumori from Universe 50 would have actually, landed on Earth one day, or, because, well, just to get away from Anazari and Veruti. Not really liking, spending too much time with his fellow Saiyans. Because, it can get kind of annoying. Sometimes, he still loves them, like, actual family, but, because technically all of them are actually orphans of, like, war amongst, like Saiyan Civil War. So, yeah. Basically, Komori would have just been looking for, well, something to do on, this universe's version of Earth. And we were just running Danko one day. And, well, that's basically how Izumi was born. Yeah, half Saiyan. And, Izuku would be like, Komori? And just be like, why the actual fuck did you not tell me this? That my sister was a half fucking Saiyan. And basically, Komori would be like, I actually think, eyes on the tournament girl would be more important. Basically, Izuku would be like, by the way, what the hell is she doing? And basically, she'd be like, behold, for this form is divine. She would literally be like that. She'd be like, behold the mortal scum of Universe 6, for this form is divine. This is Super Saiyan Rose. Like, Goku and Vegeta would be absolutely, and even Trunks, because he would have been there, they would all just be like freaking the fuck out. like ultimate PTSD from, Zamasu and Goku Black, who's also Zamasu. Just like, good God. And basically, just turning, the key sword into a key scythe, slicing the air, and basically, a freaking pocket dimension, and a bunch of copies of herself just, popping out and just starting to dog walk freaking Caulifla and Super Saiyan 2, powering her down to her base form. And then all the copies going back into the pocket dimension. And basically, Caulifla would be like, wait, where the hell did she go? And then just feeling a pain through her, she's like, basically key sorting through the back of Caulifla all the way through to the other end. Because she was preoccupied with all the copies of Izumi, Izumi would have been able to do that. and just, cough up another win. And basically Champa being like, what the absolute hell? What the Sam hell is this? And, basically Inko would kind of be like, yeah, I didn't really teach her how to do that. She kind of learned that on her own. After, hearing the legends of, Universe 7 Saiyans fighting these divine beings that apparently, stole one of the Saiyans' bodies and, killed him with it. And gained this divine form known as Super Saiyan Rose. After hearing that legend, she kind of trained really hard and somehow managed to turn like a regular Super Saiyan form into that. The Super Saiyan form that she would have gotten into that. And I have no idea how, but she did it. Like, I guess somehow she mastered God Ki on accident, or maybe she tried to and it somehow worked. I don't know how, but she did it. And, ended up meshing that with her Super Saiyan form before she even, went Super Saiyan. And, meshing the two together, Super Saiyan Rose. So yeah, unlike, what would be usually expected of a Saiyan, or at least half Saiyan, Izumi has Rose. Super Saiyan Rose, to be exact. And she actually mastered the form not long after the initial attack on, no long after the attack on Verudi's life from that, monster. Not long after that, she would have mastered, the Rose form completely. And that would bring us to our next fight. As Izuku and, Komori, basically, Izuku bitching at Komori for not telling, him about this whole thing of him being the father to, her, like his, sister. So basically, technically making them brothers. So, yeah. Basically, after that, we have Kappa versus Gohan. And Gohan going into Ultimate Gohan, and Kappa going into Super Saiyan 2. And Ultimate Gohan stronger than Kappa's Super Saiyan 2 form, so Gohan would win. And then we would have Varudi versus Vira. And despite, the master technicianness of Vira, that really doesn't matter whenever your opponent can just is basically around the same level of power as someone who can go into a Rose form and basically, kick the shit out of you. So yeah, Rudy would just, absolutely beat the shit out of Vira just to demonstrate how true this statement actually is. And, so Rudy would get the win over Vira. and we would come over to Komori versus Vegas Shire, as, Vados would just get Shampa's attention, and Champa would be like, "What is it, Vado? Oh no." As he would just now realize it would be time for destruction yet again, as, basically all of Universe 6 just now lost. And so, basically they would get destroyed. And Vegas Shire, seeing as, they just don't give a damn. And Komori, being demoralized from the, chewing up and spitting out by God of Destruction, Izuku really not seeming to care that this caused, a possible loss of, a really strong Saiyan warrior to a demon. Just being like, Sho, are you being racist? And Sho just being like, actually, I was told to say that by Heisei. Because, Heisei being like, do you agree? And I didn't really say if I agreed or not, but, I'd be like, I still thought I would bring it up. I guess you just misinterpreted it, Lord Izuku. And basically, Izuku would be like, damn it, Heisei. And so basically, this would kind of leave things like on an uneven number for the final match. Because the first match of the last round would be Izumi versus Gohan. And Gohan would just go into ultimate form, but we all know how Rose form is. That ultimate form isn't gonna do jack shit. And just to demonstrate how much, not doing jack shit that is, basically, they get into a beam clash. Izumi and Gohan get into a beam clash. Ultimate Gohan and Rose form, Izumi. Ultimate Gohan using a, ultimate, super Kamehameha wave or whatever. And Izumi just being like, oh, just cutting a hole in the dimension, basically releasing another Izumi, then resealing back the dimension, and basically having them fuse, creating a merged Izumi, and basically watching in horror as Gohan's face basically portrayed the shock of everyone there, destroyed or not, as basically just merged Izumi is just like, merged Kamehameha, and basically the merged Kamehameha would overpower the ultimate Kamehameha, basically just sending Gohan all the way to high heaven, all the way to Valhalla. Wait. Basically, the next match being Frieza versus Veruti, and basically Veruti being like, okay, I'm ready. And basically Frieza being like, no, you are not. And basically, just pop up there and Hakai Veruti before anything could really happen. And, just end that altogether. Like, usually Veruti usually gets, or get back, but Frieza didn't even give her time to do that, so Frieza wins. All the way into black form and used Hakai. And seeing as it's an uneven number, the third match will be the final match. Izumi versus Frieza versus Vegashire. And, well, Vegashire is kind of accessing this, demon chakra. Not chakra, but ki. Like this demon ki. Like God ki. Mode. Around themselves. And Frieza going straight into black. And, Izumi's little secret, not so secret anymore, go into Rose again. But the thing is, something that Frieza or Vegashire would fail to realize is the fact that it never really left the fused state. That is until Frieza and Vegashire see the halo. Yeah, not just Rose, but freaking merged form. And her merged form can basically create an illusion that makes you think she's in her Rose form. That's how mastered she is at it. Both her Rose and her merged form. Because she can merge with the other versions of her that come out of the pocket dimension. Though only one at a time. Just so that she doesn't go to a Harvey Dent like what happened with Zamasu. And basically, safe to say that Vegashire would want to block Frieza, because, knowing how Frieza is, probably wouldn't be good if he was left in the fight for too long. But, that would kind of give, Izumi the advantage, because while they were trying to kill each other, she could just, start plotting, behind the scenes. And whenever, finally, because, Frieza in his black form would probably be stronger than any demon. Just off freaking Vegashire after getting bored. Because do you really think that black Frieza would be weaker than a demon? Like around Deborah's level? No, I don't think so. So basically after Frieza had expended enough of his energy, he would realize that he would basically knocked out of his black form and into his, mastered gold form. And he would be like, how the hell did that happen? And basically, Izumi would be like, you lost all of your energy, buddy. You were expending so much of it fighting that other guy that you kind of forgot to, not do that. And basically, then it would be revealed that that was all an illusion, that she didn't go back into Rose form, and she had been in her merged form the entire time. But unlike Zamasu, didn't make the mistake of, well, he was already in his Rose form, but so was it, to de-transform before they fused? I think that was the mistake that he had made. Like, the black Zamasu. That was the mistake that he had made. They needed to de-transform, him from Rose back to his regular form before they fused. I believe that was the mistake that was made. So basically, making the same rookie-ass mistake as Zamasu. So she didn't really do that, so she still had enough energy left, and basically didn't turn into Harvey Dent. Plus, with Zamasu, it wasn't really a one-to-one copy of himself, because, I had that, Saiyan body, But with this, it's basically a pocket dimension version, so yeah, kind of is a one-to-one version. So, it'll probably be a stronger version of the merged form. So, yeah. Both those factors added in, plus the fact that Frieza basically wasted a bunch of energy, fighting Vegasshire until they just got bored. And the fact that Vegasshire, for the time that they were actually a challenge, Vegasshire isn't exactly weak, but isn't exactly Frieza level, but still isn't exactly weak. So basically, Izumi just basically being like, okay, breaking the illusion. And basically, Frieza realizing that he's knocked all the way down to just his mastered golden form, and basically realizing that, Izumi wasn't really wasting any energy, but, they were just all this time actually in the merged form. So really didn't have to use any time to, re-merge, because they were just using an illusion to make people think that they weren't merged again. So, yeah. Izumi's just like, you other universes, you disgust me with your weakness. And, Frieza would just be so pissed at this child calling him weak that, tried to pull the same shit that Frieza did in, Resurrection F, or the Resurrection F arc of Dragon Ball Super. Try to pull the same shit. But we'll just get Randy Orton punt kicked in the face, sending him flying, and then, coming up from above, not really Verity, but Izumi basically having learned engine transmission from seeing it, and basically merged Kamehameha, like, point-blank range right in Frieza's face. The punt kick being so strong that actually knocked Frieza out of his forms, back to, his base, and basically getting blasted with a merged Kamehameha. Killing him. Eviscerating this man. Just like how he did with Frost. And so basically, Universe 7 would be erased. And, the Super Dragon Balls, it would all be revealed that the last one was, well, nearly at the planet they were at, in the world of Void. And basically, another thing, like a shocker, will be revealed for Izuku, seeing as, Gokori had actually heard of the ancient tongue before, used, in order to, basically talk to the Super Dragon, Super Shenron. He actually researched up on that and learned basically how to, tell, Inko how to teach, Izumi, how to speak in the ancient tongue of Super Shenron. Yeah, so, basically, Izumi telling, the Grand Priest that really didn't need to expend all that much effort after, bringing the Super Dragon Balls around, because not only does she summon the damn thing, but she actually, to even, Grand Priest and even the Zenos, like the Omni King surprise, and basically anyone who's left surprise, actually speaks the ancient tongue, the wish that, basically wanted. Basically the wish that she says, this surprises the Grand Priest even more, because all of a sudden, all the universes that had competed and were erased were now back. And anyone who had died was also brought back. Basically, the Grand Priest, being like, but the way you acted, why would you make that wish if the way you is any indication? Like, why would you make that wish? And basically, Izumi would just be like, well, Mr. GP, you see, it's kind of a little thing I wanted to do. You see, if I was just my regular self, I believe no one would take me seriously, so I acted the way I did, hoping I would get a rise out of them, so that they would attack me in full force. And it worked. So yeah, basically, Izumi only being that way, being the ultimate racist, because, she believed that if she didn't do that, if she didn't get a rise out of people, she wouldn't get their full attention, wouldn't get their full power out of them, to attack her with it. Wouldn't really get a full challenge. That since she's just a kid, no one would take her seriously. Unless she did something to get a rise out of them. Yeah, she's actually really not a racist at all. She just did that because, she felt it would be the only real way to, actually get the actual full amount of power of all the competing universes, to actually take her seriously. Enough to where it actually felt like they were, actually giving her their all. So really, she was only acting like a bitch because, well, and the ultimate racist, because, that was kind of her way of ensuring that she got the best out of whoever she fought. Or at least the closest to their best out of whoever she fought. And basically, G.O.D being like, basically being like, yeah, that's my girl. Not G.O.D, but Kumori. Basically, Kumori being like, yeah, that's my girl. And basically, Inko being like, actually, that's our girl. So yeah, basically the victor of the tournament, actually not being of Universe 7, but of Universe 50. And then we do a time skip. Let's do the time warp again. And basically this is after all of the movies, like the Dragon Ball Z movies, are canonized, basically. After all those events had happened, basically the only thing really all that much changed in Fusion Reborn being, that instead of just, Gogeta or Gogeta Blue, they actually, Goku goes Ultra Instinct and Vegeta goes, Ultra Ego, and basically they get Ultra Gogeta instead of just, Super Saiyan Gogeta or Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Ultra Gogeta against Janemba, like Super Janemba. Basically really mean like super big change that would like explode the universe. Basically, after all the DBZ movies, basically redone, to fit Dragon Ball Super more, after all of that, Izuku would be thinking of something. What if, whenever he does inevitably retire, what if the person who, replaces him doesn't have the same views on, their version of Earth that he does? And so would probably be a lot more prone to destroy Earth and its people than he is. I mean, at least before destroying Earth, he would at least, try to move the people somewhere else so that they didn't die because of its destruction. And well, basically this would have been having him in a funk. And basically whenever his angel had been realizing this, and Heisei's off in the world of the Kais of Universe 50, so Heisei really wouldn't have been paying all that much attention. Plus, Heisei actually has a job of his own besides just being Supreme Kai. Just like Goasu, he actually got himself his own, Supreme Kai in training, this one being, kind of what Zamasu was. But instead of north, part of the universe, actually, not even the east part of the universe, or the west part, would actually be the south part. It would actually be the Kai of South part of the galaxy. Or universe. So, more or less a South Supreme Kai apprentice. Basically, South Kai. And their name being a Machina. So, basically, apprentice Supreme Kai in training. Yeah, his own apprentice Supreme Kai in training, Machina. Being the one who rules over, the southern quadrant, or whatever area of the actual universe. So, yeah. I would indeed have things being different. Basically the one governing over the south, galaxy of, the Universe 50. And, possible, candidate for Supreme Kai, once inevitably, Heisei retires in their own position. Basically being replaced by, well, if they do indeed graduate, or at least, get promoted, eventually being replaced by Machina. It's basically like a Zamasu and Goasu situation, only Machina isn't absolutely batshit insane. And basically, whenever Showa figures out about, well, Izuku's whole predicament, will basically just be like, if what you're thinking about now is, retiring so soon, then maybe the one I knew that first time that we met. Maybe that one, that one, they're dead. What I have now in front of me is just a mere shell of what they were. Wherever they are, they're dead. And basically, this causing, Izuku to not really get apprehensive with Showa, but more or less get an idea. Basically, going over to the world of the Kais of Universe 50, and, just seeing that, Heisei nowhere to be seen, probably doing, some duties checking up on the mortals of Universe 50, after that whole tournament thing, making sure they're not too shaken up or shooken up or whatever. Or, well, whatever. Whatever the Kais do. And, well, basically seeing as Makina's there, and, Izuku knows that Makina's pretty strong. I mean, nearly died because of how strong Makina was. I mean, Makina, once in a spar with Heisei, almost killed him, indirectly almost killing Izuku. That's how strong Makina is. Like, even stronger than, Zamasu was in that time period. That's how he literally almost killed Heisei, and directly almost killing, Izuku. Though Showa and, Izuku were able to get there in time to the world of the Kais in time to help fix that problem, along with the assistance of Makina as well, feeling responsible for the almost death of their god of destruction. So, yeah. Basically, knowing that Makina is incredibly strong, Izuku just goes over there and, tells him to fight him. And, well, Makina, not really wanting to refuse an order from the god of destruction, so doesn't he do so? And then it gets even more surprised whenever Izuku says not to hold back. And basically, in the middle of their fight, Makina stops entirely. And Izuku, wondering why this is because you're not giving me your all. You want me to give you my all, but you're not giving me your all. And Izuku, realizing this, starts to, get stronger as the fight goes on, bringing more and more of his power, more and more of his juice. And basically ends up realizing that, this fight with Makina is kind of what he needed to get back into the swing of things. He needed to get a kick or several kicks in the pants in order to finally kind of realize that he is, the god of destruction that Universe 50 still needs. They still need him. And believe it or not, even if he doesn't believe it himself, he still is a very effective god of destruction, and, well, that he is very capable of realizing who will be good and will be not good for the survival of the universe and even the planets of said universe after he is gone from the title. However soon or not soon that may be. And so instead of wanting to step down, Izuku is now more reinvigorated than ever. And basically Showa actually showing great, gratitude to Makina, and even, putting a good in word towards the Omni Kings and even the Grand Priest, that, it might be a good idea to give, Makina a promotion. And so imagine Izuku's surprise whenever, instead of, being greeted with the sight of, his Supreme Kai and, his, angel, whenever the Supreme Kais do have to come around to, greet the gods of destruction. Any time that actually has ever happened. He doesn't see the Supreme Kai that he was expecting. Instead, in the Supreme Kai garbs, he sees Machina. Basically, Showa being like, that's what I came here to tell you about. You know, Machina has been promoted due to, word, basically, the Grand Priest, believes that it's good enough. I mean, getting you out of your funk, successfully, without dying themselves. And the Omni Kings seem to like the idea, like both of them do. Seem to really like the idea, so he was promoted. And well, basically, Izuku being like, then what about Heisei? What happens to him? And well, this, he's kind of somber expression whenever it gets explained to him what exactly happened to Heisei. Apparently, he's not going to remember anything from his time as the Supreme Kai, and he's just going to become mortal again. Or really mortal at all. And not have any memories from his time with Izuku. With Izuku not feeling too happy about that, he did like Heisei, but, now he's got to look towards the future. He can't get back in his funk again. He has to look towards the future and what that will, be in store for him. And, that would be that. Pretty much that was the end of our story. As, it would be quite some time until, Izuku would actually need a replacement, unlike Belmont, who has been in the job way too damn long, and probably would need a replacement. Tampo. Anybody. Basically, he already has a God of Destruction form, so... Actually, well, Izuku has actually been, thinking of training someone up to, be his replacement. Eventually, whenever that day does come. Well, he doesn't really, train them. More or less, they're trained by their parents. In order to one day meet the expectations whenever the inevitable confrontation does come. And whenever that happens, well, and whatever result, Izuku gets from that confrontation will decide if they are worthy of the title or not. If he can step down, or if he needs to still stay the God of Destruction of Universe 50. That person being Izumi. Possible replacement. And, well... yeah. Basically now, with Machina as his new, Supreme Kai counterpart, things do indeed be looking to becoming, interesting again. And not as hectic as before. Because, Heisei, even though he was, quite, the Supreme Kai, he was often very, I guess you could indeed say clumsy of sorts. So, yeah. And Machina being a lot more eager, would definitely help with the mortal level of Universe 50, even if it didn't mortal, help. Even if it did need help. Like, it isn't exactly the best, but it's far from the worst. I can go to, like, Universe 9 and 10. So, yeah. Things are looking pretty good. And that's what brings us to the end of this, video, and the end of this what if. At least for now, unless I can think of something later. So, yeah. And that's the end of this is about to create my blue suede shoes. You eat and I'll eat. My boys. Deuces.